Hi, it's Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm called the Big Game Hunter because I coach people and organizations to play big. And this video is entitled Your Worth because your worth is one of the things that people consistently undervalue. And they do so for one very simple reason. They don't understand their value. They go into the job market and they decide they're looking for a percentage increase over what they previously earned without making any comparisons. Now, comparisons have values, and have value, and I understand that employers will try to attempt to value you based upon previous salary. After all, they are not going to take a $65,000 person and pay them $135,000, are they? Well, not unless you go into consulting first and establish yourself as making 65 to, shall we say, $90 an hour, in which case at 65 you're making 130, at 90 you're making 180, and then they try and drop you down from there. So what can you do to establish your value? And the first thing is you need to establish it in your own mind. You need to understand how you compare with others. And you're not going to find that out online. You're going to find that out by talking to hiring managers at other organizations to get a sense of how they would value you and your skills without telling them necessarily that you're looking for a job, but you're just trying to get a sense of how they might evaluate you. So, for example, you don't tell them what you're currently earning. Instead, you ask them to interview you to get a sense of what your capabilities are and how they might assess you. Got that? That's a more valuable benchmark than any sort of online survey that you'd ever read. After all, the surveys are very limited. They offer a job title, they may offer a skill set, but there's no depth in that. So for example, if you're in IT and it says Java developer, what does that really say? There are tons of other tools that go along with that, right? So how do you get that sense? The first place is internally, so that this way you are persuasive with someone else. Then from there, I think the second place is during the waiting. A lot of job hunters do things that devalue themselves, and it occurs during the waiting process. They become anxious. They really want it. Desperation comes across, and kind of like the guy or girl in a dating situation who's waiting by the phone, pining for that person to call them to the point where they turn into a stalker. Hey, when are you going to call me? When are you going to call me? Call me. Hey! And they call like 4 or 5 different times in a short period of time to try and flush out the person that they've been out with. Well, you don't want to come across as being desperate. Desperation doesn't work, does it? You don't like it if you walked into a car dealership and the person just tried to push you into buying that car, right? Or if they were selling you life insurance and they tried to push you into buying a policy. Employers don't like it. Hiring managers don't like it. So why do you act desperate? You have to control yourself. And the best way to do that is to go out on more dates. And by dates here, I mean interviews, so that you, again, get a sense of your value. You get a sense of how others will perceive you, and you engender more interest in you. The more interest you get, the better you will feel, the more value you will have, and the more persuasiveness you will have in talking to others, communicating your value. See, it's not just enough that you know your value. That's the starting place. You need to learn how to convince other people of your value. And the first way to do it is with your attitude. Your attitude says a lot to an employer. It says, hey, look, I'd love to work for you, but there are other fish in the sea too. Just like they carry with you, right? When they say, hey, look, we'd love to hire you, but we're going to talk to 25 more people before we circle back and maybe ask you out again. Well, you've got to have your equivalent as well. I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, the head coach for JobSearchCoachingHQ.com. Visit the site, join. I also do executive job search coaching. If that's something you're interested in, email me at jeffaltman@thebiggamehunter.us. And in the subject line, put the word coaching. I look forward to getting back to you. I look forward to working with you. Have a great day. Take care.